The GoFest global event starts soon around the world in Pokemon Go, but many of you still had questions about the event. So in this video, I'm going to be going through your last minute questions and clarifying anything you might still be confused on. With that being said, we got a lot of questions to get through, so let's jump straight into it. Easily the most common question that I've been getting asked this week is how the Go Pass Deluxe works, or even just a regular Go Pass for that matter, when it comes down to hitting rank 100, because there's a point limit, or at least there is supposed to be a point limit throughout the weekdays. Most people clearly didn't understand that the point limit is going to be removed over the weekend for Pokemon Go Fest. So even though you've been capped on like 1,000 points a day leading up to this event, that is no longer going to be the case over the weekend. The next question I have is going to be, what is the quickest way to get to level 100 to get the bottle cap? And this is also applicable for free-to-play players as well, because level 100 is also going to give you a nice range of rewards, even if you only have the free version. So basically how the point system works is that if you hatch an egg, you're going to get 250 points. If you win a raid, you're going to get 100 points. And then if you catch a Pokemon, you're going to get 5 points. Now I do want to give you guys a fair warning here. Just because it seems like hatching eggs and winning raids are heavily weighted, it doesn't mean that you have to do these things. Like, yes, use your free incubator, use your, free raid passes, but don't feel like you have to hatch a bunch of eggs or you have to do a bunch of raids. If we go back a few months to the Univator when the Go Pass was first launched in Pokemon Go, during that event, I didn't go hard on eggs, I didn't go hard on raids. I literally just caught as many Pokemon as I possibly could. I easily eclipsed past rank 100 to get the rewards. I think it was actually a little bit less than rank 100. Might have been like rank 80 or something like that. Maybe even rank 40, but whatever it was, I got to like rank 400 because, it really wasn't that difficult, right? If you're fast catching, you're gonna catch so many Pokemon so quickly, and so honestly, those 5 points really add up. Do not feel like you have to hatch a bunch of eggs or you have to do a bunch of raids. Only do that stuff if you actually want to. I'm pretty sure this was set up in a way to give players the idea that they have to spend a bunch of money on incubators or raid passes, but that's just not true. If you fast catch throughout the weekend, I guarantee you'll probably get this done in a few hours. Now specifically, this person mentioned that they won't have that much time to play over the weekend, and in that situation, well, honestly, I probably would not have bought the Go Pass Deluxe first, but it's not a bad thing that you did, right? Because you probably got bonuses throughout the week for actually having this. So when it comes down to it, just catch as many Pokemon as you can. If you have an auto catcher, I would leave that running if you're busy doing whatever it is you're doing over the weekend. Oh, and by the way, they did also ask if the bottle cap is going to expire, and yes, the bottle cap is going to expire on July 6th. So if you guys have not decided what you want to do with that bottle cap, definitely make sure to check out this video on screen right now. It's going to go through the best Pokemon you guys can actually use it on, and I'll also be doing a follow-up video answering a bunch of questions I got on that video, so stay tuned for that. That'll probably get released maybe on Monday or Tuesday. Taking a look at our next question we have, is the bonus we received easier catches when using Premier Ball, so basically the global challenge bonus, is that going to be going away? Because I thought I saw something about it being easier for GoFest 2, but the countdown ends before GoFest. Now I totally understand this can be a bit confusing because that timer in-game is for the global challenge, not for how long the bonuses last. On the official blog post, as you guys can see on screen right now, it specifically states that the Global Challenge bonus is going to last until the end of GoFest. Now, even though I've already answered this question in my last video, when it comes down to Legacy movesets, I keep getting questions about the Legacy moves over this weekend. So what I'll do is I'll come back to this video and I'll update the pinned comment as soon as the event starts and we find out what those Legacy movesets are supposed to be. Unfortunately, for some reason, the people over at Pokemon Go just don't include this information for GoFest or Go Tour or anything like that. It literally never makes sense to me every single year they do this, because then we always find out what the Legacy moves are on the first day of the event in the earliest time zones. But if you are curious what the best Pokemon are that actually have access to these Legacy movesets, to at least give yourself an idea of what to pay attention to, then check out my best Pokemon to hunt during GoFest video, because that video goes over the meta-relevant options with Legacy moves, and more than likely we're going to be getting those Pokemon with their Legacy moves during the event. Maybe not all of them, but I would have to imagine at least most of them. Will Pokemon storage be increased? And yes, Pokemon storage has already been increased to 10,500 for all of you Pokemon hoarders out there. If you guys want to avoid actually having to buy more Pokemon storage and you haven't checked out my Ultimate Pokemon Storage Management Guide, I strongly recommend watching that. I have been playing this game free to play for the last 9 years. The only exceptions I've ever made are like GoFest tickets or in-person events. I have never spent any money on Pokecoins, and I have about 4,400 storage right now, so that is all from gyms. If you guys really want to change the way you play this game, seriously, invest some time into that video. I totally understand it might be a little bit too last minute right now before the event, but I've been telling you guys about that video for like weeks now. So if you don't have time to watch that video, or you just want the easiest possible solution to getting more Pokemon storage, yes, you can upgrade to 10,500 now. What is the shiny rate for raids with a ticket? So I did already answer this in my Ultimate Breakdown video for Pokemon Go Fest, but I'll answer it again. The shiny rate for raid battles battles is not going to be boosted. It's going to be the same standard shiny rate of 1 out of 20 for legendary raid battles. Can you get crowned energy if you do raids from overseas on Friday night? I remember doing that for the primals when they released, but I don't remember if I got energy for them. So this is kind of a hit or miss, right? I think for the in-person events, you can't get energy, right? But for the global event, it was specifically advertised that the remote raid pass limit would have no limit on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I would have to imagine, educated guess here, that yes, you can get the energy for these Pokemon if you do the raids on Friday. Even if the event hasn't actually started in your local time zones, I'm pretty sure this is going to be applicable. If anybody has already started raiding in the comment section down below, please let us know. But again, I'm almost positive you're going to be able to get the energy because it was advertised this way. Can a Zacian caught in 2024 count to evolve into a crowned sword form? Yes, there is no requirement other than just having Iron Head on your Zacian or Zamazenta to transform them into their crowned forms to get their special movesets. That is the only requirement. If you have one from a long time ago, that's perfectly fine to transform. What is the max CP you can roughly get to with 10 to 13 raids each? Is it worth it? So I don't know what the exact CP is going to be because this varies on a ton of different factors. First of all, the raids that you do is one way to get candy, right? You also have rare candy which you can dump into Zacian and Zamazenta respectively to power them up further. When it comes down to the level 40 CP for Zacian, that's going to be 49.79, and for level 50 that's going to be 56.29. And then when it comes down to Zamazenta for level 40, it's going to be 41.72, and for level 50 it's going to be 47.17. So if you want to go for the higher CP option, Zacian is going to be the better choice. Going back to your question though, 10 to 13 raids each is going to be important for just getting the energy for each of these Pokemon to transform them into their crown forms. That is the most important thing. You can always get rare candy after this event and power them up further. If I mainly want Zacian for raids, what are the minimum IVs I should have before I consider spending his energy? Should I value attack IV over the others, or is a better general percentage a better option? So great question. I'm sure a lot of people probably have a similar question when it comes down to IVs. So Zacian is going to be applicable in Master League, the raid/gym meta as a steel type attacker, and then also max battles. So basically when it comes down to raid battles as well as max battles, the IVs don't really matter as much because most of the time like the break points and bulk points aren't going to make a massive difference. Now with that being said, that is not exactly true for Master League and PvP. In this scenario, you want to have the best possible IVs for not only break points for the attack IV stat, but also for bulk points, and that's a combination of the HP and defensive stats. So when it comes down to it, yes, I mean having the hundo is the most optimal, but what can you actually get away with, right? That's kind of what you're asking here. So basically the general rule that I like to follow is anything that's 96% IV or higher with 15 attack is going to be optimal. If you want to go a little bit lower, you can bring that threshold down to like 90% IV or higher, so that's basically going to be at least 4 IVs down. Is it going to make a massive difference in raid battles and max battles? Probably not. In Master League 2, you can definitely get away with it, but at the end of the day, I think when it comes down to having 1000 energy on these Pokemon, it's so difficult to get that resource alone, so you don't want to really spend that lightly. How good will Zacian and Zamazenta be in raid battles as a steel and fairy/fighting type attackers? Okay, so I can kind of answer this in simple terms here. As a fairy and fighting type attacker, they're not going to be good. I mean, they're not going to be great, I should say. They're not going to be bad, but I mean, in their crowned forms, the main appeal is going to be as a steel type attacker. And when it comes down to their rankings, they're both tied for #1 in that meta. Now, if you want to see how they compare against the other steel type attackers in the game, then check out this video that I just uploaded on my Clips channel. That goes over all the best steel type attackers for not only the raid/gym meta, but also for the PvP meta. Should I do 2 Zacians and 1 Zamazenta, or 1 Zacian and 2 Zamazenta? I'm thinking 2 Zacians is more useful. What do you think? So I think overall having 2 Zacians is probably going to be a little bit better than having 2 Zamazentas, just because Zacian is slightly better than a Zamazenta here, but honestly I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It's like the rare scenario where, I mean, they're both just really, really good, and so Zacian might slightly outperform against Zamazenta, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I guess whichever one you happen to like the most, just, you know, visually, go with that option. I personally like Zacian more, so I'm going to go with 2 Zacian over 1 Zamazenta in this scenario. Ooh, this is a good question. Okay, so after we form change our Zacian and Zamazenta, we can then upgrade their max moves, but because we can revert them back to their previous forms for free, really like that feature by the way, will we lose our max move progress if we then form change them back to their sword and shield forms? I think what they meant to say is their hero forms, right? Because the crown forms is the transform state, the hero forms is going to be the regular state. So hopefully that made sense for in a world where you want to use different moves in Master League. So this is a fantastic question, but unfortunately I do not have the answer to this one. If anybody is willing to test this for science who went to the in-person event and let us know, that would be amazing. I'll update the pinned comment with your information, but yeah, basically when it comes down to this, I don't know. I think that if you would upgrade the max moves, it shouldn't revert back, right? Maybe you just wouldn't be able to see the max moves anymore, but then when you transform it back, it would still be there. But then, like, the more that I think about it, I don't know if that would actually be the case, right? It might just revert all the progress back, in which case that would really, really suck. So again, if anybody can let us know in the comment section down below, just because I don't have my own Zacian or Zamazenta to test this out myself, that'd be really appreciated. Great question, man. If I'm doing raids, I'm going to be using a Steel type Mega. Okay, so this is a huge mistake, right? And I understand why you might think the Steel type Mega is going to be applicable to both of them, but you're thinking about just their crown forms. Yes, the raid battles are going to be crown forms, but when you go to catch these Pokemon, they're going to be in their hero forms, because you're not going to get the transform state right away, right? You have to use the energy to get that. So if you actually want to get Candy on these Pokemon, do not use a Steel type Mega, use a Fighting type Mega for Zamazenta or a Fairy type Mega for Zacian. Which one of these Pokemon are good for Choose a Path? Okay, so another good question I would have to say, because if you bought the ticket, you're going to get a special research that's going to branch into either a Sword Path or a Shield Path. By the end of that research, if we go off the in-person event, you're also going to get 1000 energy for each respective Pokemon. So if you went Sword, you're going to get 1000 energy for Zacian. If you went Shield, you're going to get 1000 energy for Zamazenta. This kind of goes back to the question earlier when it came down to 2 Zacian and 1 Zamazenta, or 1 Zacian and 2 Zamazenta. I think whichever one you like the most, pick that one as your path. I really don't think there's going to be a bad choice here. I mean, personally, I'm going to go with Zacian for the Sword path, but if you go with the Shield path, I don't think it's going to be like a mistake or anything like that. Does Zacian like Pancakes more than Zamazenta, or is it the other way around? So I actually think Zacian likes Pancakes a bit more than Zamazenta, but you guys can feel free to debate that in the comment section down below. How much extra large candy do you get from each raid? So if you do the raid battle and you don't have any bonuses ongoing, you're going to get 3 guaranteed extra large candy and then 3 again when you catch the Pokemon. If you have an active Mega Evolution, if you have the event ticket bonuses, if you have the Go Pass bonuses, this can be increased quite a bit. I think you get like 1 guaranteed extra large candy additionally if you have the Go Pass Deluxe option, and if you also have a Mega Evolution active for that respective typing, you should have an increased chance to get more extra large candy as well. How much candy, Stardust, energy to level up, change form, unlock max moves for Zacian and Zamazenta? Okay, this is a loaded question. Let's start with the candy. So first of all, to go from level 20 to level 40, it's going to be 248 regular candy. Then from level 40 to 50, it's going to be 296 extra large candy. Now, for the max move specifically, it'll be 130 to max out attack with regular candy, 210 for max guard, and 210 for max spirit, and then 55 each if you want to go from level 2 to level 3 of extra large candy. So in total, it'll be 798 regular candy and then 461 extra large candy. And if you also want to unlock that secondary charge move, add an additional 100 candy, so it's going to be a total of 898 regular candy. So that's kind of a lot. I mean, that's seriously a lot, but you don't actually have to upgrade every single max move. Now, as far as Stardust, it's going to cost you 475,000 Stardust to go from level 20 to level 50. If you have a lucky variant, it's going to be half this amount. And of course, when it comes down to the form change, it's going to be 1000 energy each, as we mentioned earlier. So therefore, maximizing the amount of XLs you get from these raid battles is going to be really important, especially if you want to max out both of them with all the max moves and that secondary charge move. How long after GoFest Day 1 will the raids be on for? I remember in past years, some events like this have gone until 9 p.m. I'm assuming since it's all of Saturday, we will get the raids until 9 p.m. So I can't actually say for sure if this is true. I think last year we did actually get them for like an extra hour or 2 after the event ended, which was pretty nice. It could have been the Go Wild area that I'm thinking about though, so I honestly don't know. It says until 6 p.m, so I'm just going to take it at face value, and 6 p.m. is going to be the cutoff time. If they go a little bit longer than that, then great, but I wouldn't bank on it. Now, when it comes down to this next one, it's not really a question, it's more of a, I guess, recommendation. So this person says, I'm going to be using Lucky Eggs because my main focus is going to be raids on both days. I plan to join about 40 plus raids per day, so since I will also be buying the Deluxe Pass and get an extra 5,000 experience per raid, so 80 times 30,000 experience is going to be 2.4 million experience from raids alone, and I think that's worth the 16 Lucky Eggs. Now, as a free-to-play player myself, I'm going to disagree with you here. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because if you use your Lucky Eggs, for example, during a 3x catch experience calm day, you can honestly farm hundreds of thousands of experience just from those Excellent throws. Like, I would say anywhere from like 5 to 600,000 is not uncommon. And then of course we also have friendship bonuses where if you Lucky Egg with a best friend, that's going to be 200,000 experience, an additional 100,000. If you stack up like 5 best friends, that's a million experience right there, and you can do this all on one Lucky Egg. Now with that being said, you can totally go ahead and do this if you feel like it's going to be worth it to you. I just personally don't think that it is. I think there are much better times to actually use your lucky eggs in-game to farm even more experience and get the most value out of them. What is going to be the best way to farm candies? I've seen people pull out 1,000 Zacian extra large candies in videos, and it's kind of mind-boggling. So I think there's definitely two answers to this question. There's the free option and there's the paid option. So for the free option, you know, go with the Mega Level 3 for that respective typing. So for Zacian, that's going to be Fairy. For Zamazenta, that's going to be Fighting. Now for the paid option, if you really want to maximize the amount of candy that you get, obviously, you know, just spend as much money as possible on remote raid passes, have the right Mega Evolution like I just mentioned, but also buy the Go Pass Deluxe for the additional candy bonuses, and then I think you should be good to go. I would not recommend this, but if you want to get that much candy, that's probably the best way to do it. Do you get more than one free raid pass a day if you don't have the ticket, or do you need to get the ticket to get more than one? So yeah, if you don't get the ticket, you're only going to get the one free orange pass to use per day. Hopefully most of you guys did actually save up a stash of premium raid passes to use over this weekend. Unfortunately, this event is kind of designed around actually getting the ticket, so I think the ticket is easily worth the value, so don't feel like, you know, you need to do this event 100% free to play. I play this game free to play for like the majority of the time. This is like the one exception that I make for myself where I actually just get the ticket. Will the GMAX starters be available all week or just the weekend of GoFest? So I thought they were just going to be available during the week, but turns out they're going to be available over the weekend as well. If you guys have extra MP that you've been stacking up, definitely use that over the weekend when you actually have a community to play with. I'm personally still missing GMAX Cinderace, so I definitely got to get at least a few of these done. I'm pretty sure this guy asked me a really good question during last year's GoFest as well, and he asked me another really good question this year. So he said, ticket holder, I have an auto catcher that can throw Ultra Balls. Should I still go for Spacial Rend or should I use Ice Bird instead? So it really depends on your playstyle at the time. If you're going to be freehanding your throws, Spacial Rend makes the most sense, but if you're going to be focused on raid battles, Ice Bird with the auto catcher and then of course being able to throw Ultra Balls will be the best way to go about that. Now you can definitely do a combination of both. I can't imagine that auto catching is going to be as efficient as fast catching, so you do definitely want to freehand if you want to maximize the amount of spawns you get through, but at the same time, if you want just more of a convenience factor while you're raiding to really maximize that aspect of it, Iceburn just makes the most sense. If you upgrade the Go Pass Ancients Deluxe, do you still have to level it up or do you unlock them all after purchase? So if you already completed up to rank 100 on the Go Pass and then you decide to upgrade it, you're going to unlock all the way up to rank 100 as well. It's basically parallel to the free version, so whatever rank you're on the free version is going to unlock immediately once you unlock that paid version. What's everyone using their bottle cap on? So great question. I think a lot of people are really having a difficult time deciding what's the best Pokemon to use their bottle cap on, and that's why I put together a really good video going over the top 20 best Pokemon you guys can actually use your bottle cap for, so check out that video on screen right now. It's also going to be linked down below. I did mention this earlier, but I'm just kind of going over it again. Would you mind doing an updated video of good Pokemon to trade for Lucky during this event? I saw your last one, but I would love to see a short video listing Pokemon to trade during this event for Lucky. Okay, so I guess, yeah, first of all, for anybody who hasn't seen my best Pokemon to Lucky trade video, watch that one first. That should pretty much answer your question, but I guess when it comes down to it, we have Zacian and Zamazenta now, so I would add those two into the mix. Those two will be excellent to Lucky trade as well. We did also get Regieleki added into the raid pool with a Thunder Cage, and that's actually really good as an electric type option right now, so I guess you could add that Pokemon as well. I'm not really sure that I could actually expand on that video itself. I put a lot of time and effort into making it, so it's pretty in-depth. I don't know that there's really much else you could do besides Zacian, Zamazenta, or Regieleki at this point. What are some good options for which buddy I should have to get hearts? Just the ones I want to get hearts on. So I think anything for the Open Master League is always going to be really good. If you already know which Pokemon you're going to be bottle capping, I would also work on that Pokemon too, because I believe through hyper training you have to also work on getting that Pokemon to best friend status. The only other Pokemon I can think of is going to be Sylveon, which you do need at least 70 buddy hearts to actually get that evolution on Eevee. But we're also going to get Eevee Calm Day next weekend, and I believe that requirement is going to be significantly reduced. I guess for anybody else who has some good suggestions, let us know in the comment section down below. I don't know that I could really answer this one as well, other than just like your Pokemon that you're going to bottle cap. I've been stacking my reward encounters in the Go Passes to be opened over the weekend. To get the maximum shiny rays, do I need to open them between 10 to 6? So yes, if you do actually have the event ticket, I believe opening them between 10 to 6 is going to give you that boosted shiny rate. I don't know that we're necessarily going to have a boosted shiny rate after the event hours are over. I'm pretty sure we haven't in past years, so if you really want to maximize the chances to get even more shinies, open those during the event. And with that being said, that was my last question, so now my GoFest coverage has officially concluded for 2025. Thank you all so much for watching the videos. I do hope that my guides will help you guys out over this weekend. I worked really hard on getting all this stuff out. It has been quite a marathon this past week, and of course after this weekend I'll definitely get back to content once again. We'll focus on the July breakdown video, go over some bottle cap questions, a bunch of other good stuff. But for right now though, guys, have some fun this weekend. I wish you guys all the best, get a bunch of shinies, and if you guys do still need help deciding between which Pokemon is going to be the best to bottle cap, then check out this video next.